Good day. Hello.
Good day. Hello, fellow
Good day.
peoples of the internet. Welcome.
Chip chip. Welcome. Yeah, welcome to Sips and Conversations,
Yes. Pew, 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 pew.
where we are your hosts,
Yes.
Nancy Gua
And Ilana
and
Goodman.
Lana Goodman. I met Anna at the park the other day.
Did you? Did
It
you
was
feel
the
like
craziest thing.
did you feel like it was me, my energy coming to you? I was coming to find you in the
Absolutely
park.
not. No, 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 no. No, she was really cool. She's an artist. I'll share some of her stuff with you later, but
Yeah,
she
she
was really
mentioned
cool. But
you.
she was not you. She was not you. But yeah, sorry,
Super.
my energy is like, bleh. Like I'm dealing with like stupid migraine, and it's like I just puked my guts out. Which normally I feel better after I puke my guts out,
You must have
but
just caught
then
something going around.
no, I get migraines. This is what happens. Like
It
I'll get
makes
a
you
like
sick
all
like
back
that?
here. Oh yeah, like yeah,
Oh
like in
my
the toilet.
god.
So like my like all back here, like my spine will start like doing this number, and that's how I usually know it's coming. And then like here, it's I shouldn't do that. Like,
Nancy,
but
we
I've been dealing with this
literally
all week. No, 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 we're fine. It's all good. I've been having migraines like for years. And so if I once I get some ginger ale in me, I probably be better. I'm just gonna like lay down for most of the day after, you know.
yeah. Lay
It's
down. What the
yeah,
hell?
we're just gonna chill. So I'm glad it happened today. It's Labor Day here in the
It
States. Do y'all
is.
have Labor Day in the
No.
UK?
No, we do
Y'all don't
not.
celebrate the day of laboring, of
We do
working
not.
hard?
But we had bank holiday, so they don't do they don't have, you know how the US has like a bunch of different random 3-day weekend like holidays? The
Yeah.
UK just has random bank holiday days. So there's nothing specific, there's no actual holiday, like there's nothing happening. The holiday is the banks are closed on those days. So they're
It's like,
like
hey, it's a holiday. You can't come get your money out of the bank. We need to,
literally they're just like we're taking the day off.
we're
So
taking the day off.
So last week, I'm sure there's like a history behind it, but last week Monday was bank holiday for us. So
Got
our
you.
like basically Labor Day weekend was last weekend for me.
Got you. Got you. Yeah.
So that's why I
Yeah,
kept
actually, it
messing
snuck
up.
up with what?
I kept messing up with times and days. I kept being like, "Yeah, Monday. We'll talk on Monday." And then I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I completely
Oh, got you, got you,
forgot."
got you. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. No, it's all good. Yeah. So, girl,
Come
so
talk
much
to
has
me.
been
I
on my
feel like
mind
I haven't spoken to
these
you in
past.
so long. So
It has been like 2 weeks.
I don't even know. I'm going through withdrawals. I need you to.
What's happening? I have been like, and I posted this on my social media in my stories because I'm a stories poster. Like, if you were to look at my
Oh
page, you
yeah.
would think I don't exist online, but I'm always on stories. I'm usually a stories exister.
Yes.
Um, but first of all, let's get into these cups before
Oh
we get
yeah.
into the convo.
We teased a little
So
bit of
excited.
Sips merch coming soon, but these are the mugs.
Yes.
So these are the sample
Cheers.
mugs. Cheers, darling.
Yeah. Cheers.
So
Yeah. So
hopefully we'll be able to
um,
get these two people soon. We're working on it,
yeah.
but so then
Yeah.
you can sip your sips in a Sips mug while you spill the
Sips while you
tea.
spill the tea.
We're working on the slogan. Just give me some time. I'll work
This
on
is this is well, it's come thirsty, leave
I'm
hydrated.
thirsty, leave hydrated, of course.
Come thirsty, leave hydrated while you sip to be unthirsty.
Thirsty.
Okay.
Tell me
So,
everything.
Kylie, so much is happening. Like, yo, America has been crazy. So a couple weeks ago, I America has been crazy.
I know, just that
And
statement was so good.
it has. It has. America's been crazy for several years. Like, I can't wait for I can't not wait for like the weird political unrest that we have going on to just like go away. And
Literally.
I'm literally
Literally.
speaking of one human being that just needs to like go to prison, just go away, and so that we can be divided
Never come
like with
back.
normal politics again. Not like but I think that like this human, this vermin, whatever, has awakened. Like I can't even say his
Rat creature.
disgusting name.
Rat creature.
Yeah, Donald Duck has has awakened.
Don't
Like
disrespect the Looney Tunes like that.
I know, right? True, true. Wacky Duck. Let's just has like awakened like what has just been sleeping like in the country, right? Like just that
Oh yeah.
gloominess of like racism and all that. But like I found myself getting just angry
Yeah.
at like
Yeah.
um people that were like, oh yeah, I stand by my party and this, that, and the third. And then I'm like, you know what? I didn't really I did not like how upset I got.
Yeah.
There's
That's
like one
fair.
specific incident that happened. I didn't like how upset I got.
That's
And
fair.
so I'm like, okay, let me actually dive into something outside of just race, right? Because like
Sure.
racism is just a thing. And we've come so far, but haven't at the same time.
Yeah.
And then there's so much that's being like unturned by the Supreme Court. And there's like all this. So like in the moment, it just is like, I'm mad because one party is represented by a racist and a bigot. And that's all I really had to go by.
Yeah.
And you can't educate by being angry. You have
No.
to
No, you can't.
educate yourself and
Yeah.
understand like, okay, what's beyond the blatant racism and bigotry? What
Yeah.
else is this human being like enticing, right? And
Yeah.
so then I went down this rabbit hole, which like I'm still down the rabbit hole, y'all. And I love being in the rabbit hole. I
She
love
hasn't returned.
being and I don't know that I ever will.
Alice
It's
is
such a
fully
great
in
place to
Wonderland
be.
and she's never coming
Like
back.
I'm never coming back because so like being West African, I don't I yeah, you study like American history
Yeah.
when you come to America, like especially as a child in elementary school.
Yeah.
But like I don't have a background that's connected to American history. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah,
Yeah.
like if people do like their genetics, what's that called? Their DNA and me.
Ancestry DNA or whatever.
And
Do you say
thank you.
DNA
Yes.
me?
Girl, I don't.
Me and my DNA.
Me and my DNA. When like you do that, when like you draw your own blood and like
Yeah.
put it in an envelope and send it off somewhere.
When it's the 18th
Like,
century and you draw your bloodletting to find out who you're on.
like what is the problem when you do that? Like a lot of like people's blood, like especially like Black people living in America, their
Yeah.
blood traces back from like Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, like
Yes. Yes.
that that space.
Yep.
And so me being Cameroonian, I'm like, okay, that's like my one like linkage.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, y'all came from my cloth, right? Not literally, but
He's like, I'm
birthed all the
172
children.
years old.
Yeah. So
I am the birth mother of America. Thank you so
am
much.
the birth mother. You're welcome. Let me stop. But like, so like that's really been like my only connection. And
Yeah.
I do make a distinction. Like I am African. I'm not Black American because like, no, we came on the steamship. No, I'm just kidding. We did not come on a steamship, y'all. We came on an airplane.
Boat with the paddles, and they just
With the
paddled all
paddles.
the way.
They're like halfway the boat had like a in it, what's that called? A shark came and attacked us. And then
Titanic style, you got on the
Titanic
plane,
style, yeah.
and you
then,
one-armed it all the way to
one-armed it all the way to the US, right? Like
all the way to Texas.
well, actually to Atlanta. That's where I
I was
first
in Atlanta
came, was to
first.
Atlanta when I was like 8 months old, and then like we trekked from Atlanta airport to Auburn,
And then
Alabama,
they hitchhiked all
and
the
then yeah, we
way.
hitchhiked. You know, 5 miles down the road once we got to Alabama after taking the long journey on foot. But like, so like that's like my only like connection, right? And so I'm
Right.
like, let me actually study. I know I studied in elementary school, but let me
Yeah.
study American history, like for real, for like as an adult.
Yeah.
And and as I restudied American history, civil history, the different branches of government, I'm like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, like why do they teach us political science, world history in like the fourth grade? Like why do they teach us this many, many,
And
many,
then
many, many years?
they never teach us again. They teach it to us
Again,
when we're like
you
way
don't.
too young to understand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they never touch it. They
And then
said,
they
wrap
say,
that
hey,
up.
you're
We did that.
18. We did
Go.
that. Check. Where then you turn 18 to like go vote educatedly.
Mhm.
But you don't know. And so then politics becomes, or voting becomes, a thing of like, and people hate when I say this, okay, but it becomes like a sports team. And it's
100%.
like my sports team is blue and your sports team is red, and I'm going for my sports team.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not what politics is.
It's honestly a
It's
little culty. Like it's a little bit culty and
it
it gets a little
is.
weird. It gets a little weird. It gets a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Like mad weird. And so like when I found myself getting angry, I was like, okay, Nancy, hold on. Let's wind this back. Let's do
Yeah.
some actual like educating of thyself. And went back to, to the world, not World War, but like to
Yeah.
how World War II, I think, yes, started with, is that the Hitler War? Is that the Hitler War? Right? Yeah. And-
War. It
the
was just
Hitler War.
Hitler. It was everyone in
Yeah.
the world against Hitler. The end.
The Hitler War. And went back
Oh.
to that, and then even to like, okay, how did America begin,
Yeah.
right? And like the lies that were told, like, no, the Pilgrims did not come here. No, there it was the British try made a colony, like let's go venture a new world, and they happenstanced on America. And then later on, more people came
Yeah.
to be like, oh, this is an official British colony. Let's kick off the natives from their land. Go out west, y'all. We don't want you here. And then, like,
Said we don't care who was here first. We're here now.
yeah,
That's what
we're
they
here
said.
now. And then like, so then indentured servants were part of that, which
Yeah.
were all races, blacks, whites,
Yeah.
like indentured servants. And then
Yeah.
there was a free black man. And it wasn't until later on that like a slave boat crashed into the American shore
And they said,
that slavery began.
people of color, no.
No. Yeah, because that
No.
black man, he was able to withstand the winter, and like, and then like you realize like, oh wait, y'all know how to grow crops, y'all know how to do this. Okay, let's start this. Oh wait, they're doing slavery
Oh,
in
they're doing
Spanish
slavery?
America.
Oh, they're doing slavery. Let's try that.
Let's do slavery. Let's try that. And like, and then many years of like disgusting shit happens.
Yeah.
And then finally the slaves are free. And oh, by the way, they were told lies just so that for whatever,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go down that path.
Right.
But then they're free. Abraham Lincoln is killed, and what they were promised by General Sherman never came to fruition. They didn't get their land and their mule.
No, they did
Instead, General
not.
Sherman, who like obliterated Atlanta, Georgia, was like, yeah, no, y'all gonna come with me to Savannah. What do y'all want? Land and my mule. Okay, you can have it. Oh wait, just kidding, because I don't think that you deserve to be free. I'm just doing my
Joke's
ha
on you.
Joke's on you. Then you have to literally like work your way back through, and we go through many, many, many more years. Jim Crow era happens, all this bad shit happens. Civil rights are fought, they're won ish,
Yeah.
right? America starts progressing forward.
Yes.
Same time, you also have the Industrial Revolution, which
Yes.
impacted everyone, right?
Right.
And that's really what ends up like creating modern day like work and school.
Yep.
Because, hey, if we just have you working, dear, every single person, everyone work, but no, I don't, no, no, you want fair wages. Yeah, no, bump that shit. Bump that shit. And we're gonna
For sure.
kill you for the audacity of you wanting fair
Yes.
wages. Anyway, sorry, I'm
Yes.
going down like this like crazy path. But like all these things have been happening, and I'm learning about all this stuff, and I'm learning about how civil rights acts have been reversed in
Mm-hmm.
as recent as 2013, as recent as like last week.
No, I
I'm
no
sure
no.
something else.
As recent as this morning. No, I know it's crazy. It's
It's
crazy.
like the craziest thing in the world that's happening. And so, yeah, when we talk about the like progressing forward, and you've got, I don't even think that when you sit down with rational people and you take away the Democrat, you take away the Republican, and you
Yeah.
just have the conversation,
Right.
the average person actually believes the same thing.
I know. I know. And it's
And
like that's why I said a cult. It's like the brain, and that at the end of the day, like that's what I think certain cretins have capitalized on is this
yeah,
like, you know, ignorant cult like following,
yeah,
and
yeah,
really has figured out a way to capitalize on people's um fear of things changing,
yes,
fear of like the ability to change, and what if it was different, right?
yeah,
Because even psychologically, right, the most relevant way to determine the future is by relevant past behavioral or patterns,
yep,
right? That's like psychology 101, right? So if
yep,
you cannot predict what that future will look like because it's never looked that way, it's scary.
yeah, yeah,
Obviously, it's scary.
yeah,
And so I
yeah,
think instead of leading the people into that space, spearheading, like, I know this feels scary, but just ride with me. And I promise
yeah,
you, we're going to come out of it the other side. Okay, it's not as scary as you think it is. It's not as scary as you think it is.
yeah.
We don't know really. The creature in the skin suit, we don't know what's going on.
When you said that, it reminds me of like Men in Black. You remember Men in Black? Did you
That's
watch that? And then like,
honestly, yes. I feel like
like
you
this can't
shouldn't
be
be
real.
here. You're not real. Like,
You're not real.
there's no possible way. So,
Yeah,
when he gets up there, and I mean, we've all heard a multitude of speeches and, conferences and like what even ever of what it ever it is he's saying. I
I
can't
don't
even
even. It doesn't
create
even make sense.
I can't even create like a Venn diagram of like
Yeah,
topics where there's anything that makes cohesive thought of what he's saying.
yeah, nothing.
But, blindly, like many people do in a cult, of any type of sort, they blindly, because it gives them it validates that need for
Yeah,
like for that security. It
yeah,
validates them like, and I think we talked about this before, but it's like, no non-person of color in this country would ever actively choose to switch places with a person of
right.
color, no matter
Yep, no
how,
one.
right, no
Yes,
matter
no
how
one.
far down whatever pathway you are. You don't want
Yeah,
to choose places, and you know that. And so you're either
yeah,
going to stand on that 10 toes down and go
yep,
one way down the path, or you're going to recognize that change needs to happen, right? And you're going to go down another path. I don't know.
yeah.
I can't. it's really terrifying, I think, is like, I mean, we make jokes, but like it really is terrifying that in on Beyonce's internet in the year of our Lord 2024,
20, it's almost 2025.
we're
It's
having to
literally
be like,
December tomorrow.
hey, don't be sexist and racist. I don't understand. I don't really
It's the
understand.
craziest thing.
I
It's the
don't really
craziest thing,
understand.
which ended up as I've been on this like path of like learning and been been sucked into this like whirlpool of like I'm never coming outness, right? Like I'm staying in this forever. I just love being informed and I love being able to be on the internet or to hear someone talking and being like, no, you need to fact check that.
Yeah,
Or did you look at this? Or did you look at that? Or this is,
yeah,
I like to have like real facts to stand on versus just like thoughts and
yeah,
feelings about things. And
yeah,
so that's why I've just been loving just going down this rabbit hole. But then you also look at like our highest court of the land, which is so corrupt.
yeah,
And the real life Uncle Ruckus is sitting there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I never,
In the
I'm like, oh my
flesh.
God, this is Uncle Ruckus. Looks like him in everything. He is Uncle Ruckus. Like, the Boondocks were so advanced.
Ahead of our time, truly and utterly. Ahead of our time, truly and
I,
utterly.
like, they need
If
to
you,
be in the book of history.
everyone needs to rewatch. Everyone
Yes.
before the end of the year needs to rewatch the Boondocks if
Yeah,
you haven't. If you've
for
never,
sure.
or watch it for the first time if you've never seen it.
If you've never seen it. Everyone. It doesn't matter. It don't matter your race,
It
y'all. It don't
doesn't
matter your
matter. It
race,
doesn't matter.
your
It doesn't matter.
gender, your religion. Watch the
Just
Boondocks.
watch it. Just watch it, and then you can get the reference. Otherwise,
Right.
you're not going to understand the reference, and that sounds like a huge problem.
Yeah. Period. But like, but this Uncle Ruckus who benefited from so much of what he's saying no to because he's getting millions and millions and millions of dollars. His wife literally helped J6 happen.
Yeah.
And yet people are blindly saying, no, let's keep going on this path of craziness because it's that cultish go sports
I've
mindset. It's crazy to
literally,
me.
I've never understood it, and I really think there has to be some deeper meaning of why humans like that are incapable of like
Yeah.
original thought. Do you know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
original opinion, or like someone needs, I'm
Yeah.
sure somebody's done a PhD on this or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
somebody really needs to go in and figure out, like, for all the rest of us that have become fully actualized human beings who can like think for themselves, because I'm on the same side as you of like, you know, I'm on the side of like, we're picking the lesser of two evils here, truthfully. I mean, I feel like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's even my decision to move here to the UK. Like, the UK isn't necessarily like doing it right either, like,
Yeah.
if anybody else has seen, I'm sure you maybe have seen like the race riots and stuff that was happening
No.
in the UK.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh my God, girl, it was crazy. But
Yeah.
in some respects, and I'm not going to say all respects because again, I'm not writing hard for the UK or anything, but in some respects, they're just an older country. They've been around
They are.
longer, and so
Yeah.
they. Not only that, they're also smaller. So certain legislation
Yeah.
and stuff considerably smaller. I think like the whole country of the UK can fit within the state of Texas or something. Like it's it's very small. So when you
Yeah.
put in certain legislation or you pass certain laws, like it's a lot easier to, apply it to the whole country versus a country as big as America, right? But I would still not actively choose to move back home to the States anytime soon, because even here, like, it's so frustrating when I talk to people here and they're like, oh, you're from America. Oh, so like, what's going on over there? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I left for a reason. I have no idea what's going on over there, man. It's so confusing. confusing. It's so
It's so
confusing.
confusing. It's just so it's corruption, right? And I think
Mm,
like the one thing that makes you see how like with the UK and with Europe just being such a older nation
yeah.
or whatever continent, whatever. And then America is so new.
Geography, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And America just being I mean really one of the it's a very new establishment, right?
And it's
But that has
massive.
advanced so and it's huge, but it's advanced so fast
Yeah.
considering the time.
Yeah.
And but the thing that makes America a place where like foreigners will continue to flock to as long as it holds true is the US Constitution.
Yeah.
And that constitution that says you can come here, you're free, here's the rules you abide by, right? Like here's your rule book. As long as you
Yeah.
follow the rule book, there is no limit to
To what you
your
can.
success, to
Yeah.
what you can do. And like my parents are a testament to that. I mean, they were the first of their family that came, and now like almost everyone in my on both sides are here in the States. They
Hmm.
literally led the path for their families to come here
Yeah.
and be successful and make a life for themselves where they could not make it for themselves in Cameroon because like Cameroon is so full of corruption, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But so to watch the very corrupt system that destroyed and keeps destroying third world countries
Yeah.
from, you know, due to greed and all that stuff, it's like to watch that happening here, it's so heartbreaking. And then to see a billionaire a bit with a B, a billionaire who has literally benefited from said corruption, who has paid politicians, who now is a politician. Like to
Right.
see that system that swallows up all these other countries coming to fruition. That's why the reason why people came to America that founded America
Yeah.
was in like to run away from that system, a caste system where you're ruled by religion. You've got like the
Yeah.
monarchy, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
now to have a person who is saying, "Oh, let's do this." And because we don't know our history, because people don't know history, not by choice, by design,
Yeah.
there's a reason why we're taught history as 3-year-olds
Yeah.
and then taught as 18-year-olds to vote.
Right.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason why like even to become a US citizen, the questions that are asked are like very rudimentary.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason why freaking Fox News, who fake news is what it is. It's freaking fake news.
No,
It's
it
not
is. It
real.
is. It is.
It's
It's
such
not
fake
real.
news. It's there for entertainment. They literally block out certain parts of they don't tell the full story.
Yes.
And like here in Alabama, where Alabama has
It's
it's a little
Alabama.
different.
It's
It's
different out there.
Alabama. It's a little different out here to the point where like do you know like people don't even contest the Republicans running? I kid you not. Like I'm in the third district. In the third district, there is no Democratic contestation. This happens
Oh,
all over Alabama, right?
wow.
Where like they
Wow.
just don't contest it. It's just not. There's just no like. There's just no contestuant. And so as long as a Republican party get their money together, they sign all their paperwork. A lot
I
of times
mean,
they just make
yeah.
it to they make the Congress, they make the Senate, they just make it to the House
And
because
this
there's
is
no contestuant.
and this is where you get these like you see these clips of these like idiots and you're just like how did you end up?
There because people like and just the what I've seen is just there's such a block of information.
Yeah.
And like when we first moved here, my son, I mean, within like our first couple weeks, I was down at the school board because someone thought it was okay and acceptable to play a video of like the children's march where the cops were beating the kids. They thought it was
Oh yeah.
acceptable to play
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
to my child
Right.
without my consent. And
Right.
so this is how like then you've got an entire group of everyone who feels like, oh, this is normal. Cops beat on blacks, but because you're not seeing cops beating on blacks anymore, every day, oh, we've made such progress. No, but they're doing it with laws, right? And things are changing behind the scenes. And it's like, I don't know. It's like the more I just go down this rabbit hole, I don't know where it's going to take me, but I'm just like, something literally has to be done. Like, people need to actually understand they have choice, that
It,
they have the choice to be educated.
yeah, yeah. It's like beating a dead horse though sometimes. It's like
Yeah.
it just really does feel like, I mean, I've got members of my family that I, love and care for very deeply that just cannot like cannot break or shake their commitment to a certain line of thinking. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really like defeating and disheartening, and at the same time you're looking at it as like an intelligent human being and being like, but it can't be, but we can't, like, we can't continue doing this.
We can't continue
I
this
don't
way.
understand. It makes you feel crazy. Honestly, it makes you feel
Yeah.
crazy. Like, when the first wave of the Daffy Duck, Donald, whatever we call him, um, and Yosemite Sam, whatever
Captain
his
Fool. Yeah. Yeah. Ugh,
was first
that
running,
monster.
and going, I remember feeling so incredibly like defeated. Oh, dude, my light turned off. Well, but yeah, I feel like I went through this, like, because in my heart of hearts, I'll be dead serious. In my heart of hearts, I was like, there's no way he's gonna win. That's how I felt, truthfully.
Agreed.
I was
Agreed.
like, ha ha, hee hee, this is a funny time in history. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna all laugh about this, 4
Yeah.
years later or whatever. Like, I really, and so when it actually happened, I'm like stunned is not even the
He was
word.
too, though. That's the gag.
That was
So was he. He was like, wait a minute, I won.
because I
Wait.
really think that he did it for the Kiki. I don't think he
He
did it
did. He was
really,
not
and
serious.
he's been stumbling and scrambling the entire way
Yeah.
through. The
Yeah.
entire way through.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it really, I mean, I like, even just me trying to like muster up the motivation to vote after that is just like,
Yeah.
really, it's tough. It's real
Yeah.
tough. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still going to do it, even as an expat. Like, I've already registered and all of that. I'm still going to, but it's like, it's really difficult to not, and being one of the Americans that was like, I need to get the F out of this country. Like, I was like,
And a
I
lot of
can't be
Americans
here.
have done that too. A lot of Americans have done it
Are
for
still doing
mental
it because
and continue to
they're just,
like for mental peace, right? It's just like you can't. How do you see that every single day, and how it really breaks you and it breaks your
yeah,
thought process, and
yeah.
it's like at the end of the day,
The day's gotta end.
the
I'm just
hate,
kidding.
right? The hate that he's exuding, and he's able to pull people in based on hate,
Yeah,
shows where America just is, and
yeah,
that it's like, and I hate to say this, but even in me going down my spiral, like for the first time, I never understood racism. I get it. I
yeah,
get racism
yeah,
because it's like, how are you so great at one point in time, and then now you're not, right? And but guess what? You still have the ability to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You can still do things. It might just look different. It may
yeah,
not be like the way that your family's always done it. You might have to, I don't know, go to school for something different, or you just might have to do something just different, right? And so, like, or join a progressive movement that says, hey, look, these billionaires that are in America has, like, I think like the most billionaires per, like,
capita.
whatever,
I
per
wouldn't be
capita or
surprised.
something.
Yeah,
And that that's the actual enemy here. It's not, it's not each other. It's not the everyday person. It's not black or white or Hispanic or whatever. People are coming in through the border. I've got family members that have come in through the border. Why? Because they were escaping war torn countries, which is why America is always in someone's shit, because they're like, hey, let's go play peace so that y'all can like have peace in your own country
Yeah.
versus everyone flocking here. So that's why America is always like out there. But
Yeah.
like Cameroon is war torn.
Yeah.
Women, children getting killed. I mean, like my mom would send me photos and of like women in rivers trying to escape and they're shot dead.
Yeah.
Okay, like pregnant women getting killed.
Yeah.
Has it died down quite a bit over the past few years? It has, but this is also genocide is happening all over the
All
entire world.
over. In the
And
Congo,
so
it's happening
the
everywhere.
Congo, and that's why you're seeing these numbers rising at the border, was because of that. It's not like all of a sudden, oh, Mexicans are like, oh, we're going to come to America in drones. No, it's not just Mexicans. It's everyone. And my family members that have had, I probably had 3, 4 people in my family that I've heard of that have escaped from Cameroon, made it to Mexico, and crossed the border and sat in prison for a year or 2 years waiting their asylum trials. And so they're not just entering the country without going through a process, without going through a system.
And that's
Like, and
like
so,
the
but these lies are being told.
yeah, I mean that's the ignorance of it all. And like, the other crazy part about it is like truthfully, you really think that someone wants to put themselves through that entire process just to come here, like for them to be treated poorly, and like
Right.
we've talked about this before, but like the whole thing about stealing people's jobs and yada yada yada. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but the job was available, was it not? Right? So like you have just as much every opportunity to apply for certain jobs as other people, and truth be told, you're spoiled in a lot of respects that you can turn down that kind of a job, right? When
Exactly.
someone has just left everything they know, their culture, their
Literally
language, their
everything.
family. I mean, who knows what kind of traumas they've experienced trying to come here as a refugee or seeking asylum.
Yes.
Someone who is seeking
Yes.
asylum is not like, you know what sounds like a good idea? I'm going to go take a, you know, janitorial position from some hillbilly down in Alabama.
Yes.
That sounds like
Yes.
a fun thing to
Yeah.
do on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what?
They're not. They're not. And these are like educated folks. Like you might be a nurse back in your country, a doctor, a lawyer. Like these are real stories of real people that are like, I can't live like this anymore. I need to get out. I need to find refuge. I've got to get help, right?
Yeah.
And and so the average person will sit here and say, "Hey, why can't the average normal intelligent human being actually says, well, let's just fast track this person regardless of what political party you're on.
Yep.
Let's fast track this person."
Right.
But what the news doesn't show is the simple fact that there's legislation that was trying this current Biden Harris administration
Mm-hmm.
was trying to get passed a bipartisan
Yep.
piece of legislation that was completely shut down by the mass,
Yep.
by the MAGA.
Yep.
And 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 it's like when you tell someone that, they're like, "What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense." No, that's actually what's happening. That's
Literally.
actually why, because there's no real desire for change. There's no real desire
Well,
for
people are
peace.
comfortable. People are comfortable and like sorry, hold on. Somebody decided to do landscaping at 5 p.m. Give me a second.
Oh,
There's
it's
like,
okay.
can you hear it or you can't hear it?
Yeah, but like and not even necessarily like the everyday person, I don't think is necessarily comfortable. I do feel like it's just those people that want power that are taking advantage of the state that the average American is in. They're desperate. They want change.
Yeah.
They want to make more. I went to the grocery store the other day. I spent $70 on like 5 things. My son was like, wait, what? He's like, I thought it said $17. I was like, no, 70. So I got pre-workout. That was $21. I got a
$21 for pre-workout? So sorry.
pre-workout.
That's out of
I got
pocket.
Yeah, that's been like that's cheap, girl. That's the cheap pre-workout. Well, I get the full, the big thing, so it lasts me a while, but still $21
But
for
that's like,
pre-workout. It's been like that. It's been like $24, so I actually went down a little bit, to be quite honest. I'm okay with the pre-workout thing, but like the chicken wings,
oh
I got
yeah.
chicken wings 17.99 for a 20-piece chicken wing.
And I bet you they weren't
17.99.
even organic,
They were okay. It was,
whatever.
yeah, they were definitely not
It
organic.
was like the
They were from
chickens,
Publix.
they were treated. We're not going to say how, but they were treated.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, yeah. And my kid was like 17. Like he was like he thought they said seven. So chicken wings, a thing of potato salad. And I got one more thing. I can't remember what it was. He was like $70.
For like 4 items. That's how much you paid.
Literally, literally. And Tristan was like, "What?" And but like, and so when we're going after immigrants coming to America,
Right.
and meanwhile, I'm at the grocery store and it's $70. No,
We're
immigrants
talking
coming
about
to
the wrong
America,
issue here. Wrong
it's
issue,
not the
guys.
issue. This is it's not the issue.
Wrong issue. I know
That's
people.
not what's causing inflation. It's just it's
It,
not. We're not paying. They're if they're here illegally, they're not getting Social Security
they're,
benefits. They're
they're
not
not.
getting. You don't get shit.
They quite literally are not taking anything from you. Actually, they're not taking a single thing from you because they legally cannot. So
They legally can't.
oh,
So, so it's just like the real problem is big business. And like let's attack that shit. Let's at least
let's call it a buck.
stop. Let's just call it a buck. Like what's happening with big business right now, right? People are making $7. I watched this documentary. It was two families that they followed them from 1991 to
Mm.
2024. Two
Okay.
families.
Okay.
Such a powerful documentary. Oh my god, because
Well, send it to me. I want to
it
watch.
reminded me. Okay, yeah, I will. Let me actually do it now so I don't forget. But it reminded me of my parents and like
Mm.
their journey in the US. Sorry, hold on.
No, you're good. Also,
Um
while you're doing that, I apologize. I am eating a bowl of shredded wheat dry, so if it's a little crunchy over here, I apologize. Just don't say anything about that. Just don't say whatever
yeah,
it
I
is you
think
were gonna say.
I'm not. Yeah. Okay. I'll be
Not
quiet.
gonna address my shredded wheat issue. We're not gonna address it, and say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna have to like send this to you later because I'm like, where is it?
Okay,
Um,
you can text me later. It's no big deal.
like where is it for real? Yeah, I gotta find it. But yeah, so but these two different families, they both had gotten laid off from Briggs and Stratton
Mm,
at the same time. Two
okay.
different families, two different racial. One is a black family, one's a white family.
Okay.
It shows their path from
Mm,
1991, I think it was 91, through literally present day, like a couple months ago.
wow.
And so powerful because it's literally the journey of all Americans, right? Like trying to figure out, okay, how do I pay my bills now that I'm laid off? It explains the reason why they got laid off because Briggs wanted to they shipped their jobs overseas
Mm-hmm.
so they can lower their costs. Because
Yep.
guess what? And I remember like, when the whole subject or topic of like minimum wage going up
Mm,
started happening a few years ago, I
yeah.
was very anti it. I
Yeah.
was very much like, no, you can't pay someone at McDonald's $15 an hour because if you do that, like everything is gonna go up, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And but again, but like which is very like ridiculous of me because like cost of living went up, people need to make more money.
It just
So
is
I'm
what
like,
it
oh,
is.
it's really else,
For
right?
some
Like
reason, the numbers are only ever travel up. They never go the other way. So
they never go the other way. Yeah. So like I just wasn't even mature in my thoughts then. But just my business mind came out like no, because I
yeah.
just know how it works. If
Mm-hmm.
if the minimum wage goes up, those companies are not going to say, "Oh, we'll take less profit." The folks at the top are still going to they are maintaining
Right.
their PMs. Their
Right.
profit margins will their income will remain the same.
Always.
right? The folks at the top. So who's going to pay for that? Us, the consumers.
Yes.
When the war on tariffs started, I'm like,
Hmm.
this makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why? Because understanding supply chain and understanding how money works, a tariff is not paid for by it's not paid for by the country that's importing.
No.
It's paid for by the country that you're importing goods to. Who's going to
Receiving.
eat that? We are going
The
to
people
receive
who
that,
pay
right?
for it.
People that are paying for it. And so it shows that entire journey of them and how they just tried so many different ways. And the ones that are successful, like their kids who are now successful, what they had to do. They had to take up student loans. They had to do this, they had to do that, right? This lady's like,
Hmm.
I've got all these degrees of she has her not security, cybersecurities,
Mm.
um a master's in cybersecurity. She's got like all, but she's like, but I'm $90,000 in student loan debt
Yeah. Yeah.
at the same time. But that, what else? What other choice do you have? Okay, no one talks about real benefits of like joining the military. 'Cause if you join the military, at least you can get a grant and you go to school for that,
Yeah.
right? But they don't really talk about the benefits of joining the military very as openly as they really. Even people that join the military, they don't necessarily know that all these benefits exist. But then you are also sacrificing. You're not with your family. You're going away
You're at
still,
the
right?
mercy of the government. You have, I mean, you could kind of bid for like, this is where I'd like to go, and then they were like,
Yeah,
no, you have to go to Japan. Sorry, like
yeah.
it's
Sorry.
you don't you lose out on stuff like that too. But yeah, it's, and I think that's why, we talk about this a lot as well. Like not just like you and me, or in, this sort of like world that we're living in right now is this thing of like
Yeah,
what was available for our parents to be able to do, or our grandparents to be able to do, that like we just cannot do. Like the cost of living and like all of these things is because of reasons like this, of like, in order for us to protect ourselves as a generation against, you know things like getting laid off. Like way back in the day, you could go with a high school education, start working in a company, work your way up, buy a
yeah,
home, retire comfortably, and do all of that.
yeah.
But if that company laid you off, right, or whatever it was, you're screwed, or whatever it is, your
It's
whole
true.
family, and you're in a
It's
one
true.
single income household, and
Yeah,
like, and now what? Now you lost everything, right? And so
yeah,
as children of those consequences, it then
yeah,
became almost mandatory for you to have college education in order to get a
yeah,
job. And then
yeah,
when it became standardized for everybody to have a bachelor's degree, then it was like, okay, well then to be competitive, you have to go up. You have to have a master's.
yeah,
These
yeah,
days, more often than not, people are getting master's degrees or have master's degrees, which means if you want to be competitive in that industry, you got to go get your doctorate or whatever it
yes,
is,
yes.
right? And so then you end up, I just like, student loans also are just like a crazy concept to me. The fact that like education, especially in the States, like here in the UK, it costs me a quarter of the price that it would cost me to do to do a 2-year master's program
Wow,
if I stayed in the States, which is the main reason why I came here in the first place. But even
wow.
other countries here, like Norway, for example, it's all free. You don't have to pay. You can get as educated as you want to get, and it is all free. You don't have to pay for none of that, right? Like, and so
And that's where
it's.
tax dollars go in those countries. Is where tax dollars go. And so, like, if there's so many people with so much money,
Mhm.
right? And it's no one saying, like, yeah, look, I'm in the money business. I'm all about be wise with your money, but I also teach folks, like, whenever the same tax laws that apply to the wealthy also apply to you. You can
Yes.
also use the tax codes. You're in a different tax bracket, so it's actually going to benefit you quite a bit. So really the path to like any kind of freedom is small business ownership, right? Like that's a huge path to gaining some sort of some form of like freedom of your time, of where you can kind
Right.
of get that back, or where you're working to like pass something on to your kids, or where you're working and you're able to get some tax relief. Because once you start, you get your master's, you're making a decent, salary. Now you're getting taxed out the freaking wazoo because
Yeah.
depending on who's in office, they want you to have the middle class to be taxed out the ass.
Yeah.
Then like if you are in a one income household and you have a family, There's no child tax credit
Nope.
anymore. Oh, it's like for my kid, it's like $1,500 tax credit. So you're telling me that that's what it costs?
That's what
I
it
went to the
costs.
store. I spent $70 2 days ago. You tell me that's what it costs, and no one's saying like you
Hmm.
should pay me for having kids. I get it. I totally understand. That's why I only got one.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like it costs way more than $1,500 to put a child through anything
Anything.
in this country,
Let's just start
right?
just school. Just school.
Just
Nothing else.
school,
Just school. Like, are we
housing. I
joking?
can't. I can't. I can't. He has to go. He has to go to school. Okay, if you're going to school, you have to have clothes. You have to have school supplies. You have to have food. You have to have these things.
Right.
I am legally obligated to. And that's another thing. Sorry, y'all. This like
Go ahead, let it out.
I've been like really so frustrated. So
It's been ruminating, so let it out.
it's
Let it
been
all out.
like boiling. That's the other thing. Like, so I'm legally obligated on paper. I am my son's legal financial provider.
Right.
Legally, it says I am 100% responsible for him financially. Cool. I wanted that. I wanted that proof to be made to be known,
Yeah.
so I can go get him a passport. Guess
Right.
what? I can't get him a passport. I can't get him a passport, despite the fact that I am 100% legally obligated. Despite the fact that Georgia, the state of this is where people say, "Oh, every state should have its own this, then the third." Well, can
No.
every state also? They can't. We need some sort of freaking governance. Like the state of Georgia recognizes me. Like if you are an unwed mother, it does not matter who signed your child's birth certificate,
Yeah.
right? You are recognized as the sole custodial parent
Right.
unless the father goes through what they call legitimization.
Right.
Only when the father goes through legitimization can he then be recognized as a custodial parent and then
Right.
sue you for custody, for partial custody.
Right.
All right. But until that happens, they have no custodial privilege in the state of Georgia. So, in the state of Georgia, I'm the sole custodial parent and I'm the sole financial parent,
Right.
provider. In the federal government, I'm not.
It makes no sense. It makes no
But
sense.
a passport is a federal piece of documentation. So it doesn't matter what my state says.
It matters what the federal
The
government says.
federal government says. So now I can't take my kid on vacation without suing my baby daddy
Yeah, that's crazy.
for full custodial benefit when in the state of Georgia I'm recognized as the full custodial parent. What?
That's crazy.
Make it
I
make
know,
sense.
it makes no
Make it
sense.
make sense.
It makes no sense. No
I've
sense.
never gotten a dime. His dad and I were together until he was 2.5.
Yeah.
I've never gotten one penny of child support.
Right.
I think he bought him diapers like once before. Then he tried to make my life hell for many, many years, right? Like I ended up at the police station because he like took my kid, damn near kidnapped my child, didn't know where he was, nothing. And so now I'm like, okay, we've got to go to court because like we obviously can't parent on our own. Like
Yeah.
we don't know how to do this. And so
Right.
then he's like, yeah, forget you. You decide if you want your child to have a father or if you want your piece of paper. Literally, I have text messages that
Wow.
say this. So you have a person who is clearly, completely,
Doesn't
unequivocally
does not have
d-
any, just does
no
not care.
interest,
None. Zero.
does not care. And yet now, if I want to take my kid on vacation to
Right.
Mexico for his
That
birthday,
that you
I
also have worked your butt off to make all this money to be successful so that you can do things like take your kid that you take care of. It's not even like, oh yeah, let me cash in this child support check and take my
right,
kid to
right,
Mexico. No, no, right? Haven't
no,
asked you for anything and now you can't do that.
without taking
So
him to court and getting
Wow.
attorney fees. Luckily, I have insurance through work, legal insurance, y'all. Insurance is you gotta get
Right.
where you can get insurance, get insurance. But because like I can't get a free attorney because I make too much money, right? So I have to pay for an attorney to sue my baby daddy, who does not give a shit.
Right.
It's like this whole system. Oh my god! And then on top of that, I'm like, then we've got all this racism that's happening. It's just a lot.
It
I know I'm just being
really
like
is.
bitching this entire.
No,
Excuse my
it's a
French.
lot living on Earth. It's a lot like just being a human living on Earth, like truly and utterly. I've like I've been right there with you going through the
Yeah,
muck of it,
yeah.
going through the muck of it. So like, yeah, go ahead, take your sip, take a sip. You need it. You need it.
Funny is like the more I talk, the kind of almost better I feel. But I feel like as soon as I stop talking, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna like cry.
It's just the physical culmination of all of the
Yeah,
shit you've been dealing with. Truthfully,
it's just so much. It's just so much. But at the end of the day, I'm thankful. I'm blessed. I'm fortunate. A lot of people don't have, and that's I think what keeps like for
yeah,
me grounded is
yeah,
like people don't have the ability of free thought. There's someone somewhere, even here in the States, right? Like the ability of free thought
yeah.
is not something that everyone is blessed with,
No,
right?
no.
We see the cultists that are happening.
Yeah,
And so at
yep.
least I'm thankful that I have the ability of free thought. I'm thankful that I have like support like yourself,
Yeah,
like in
yeah,
like to
yeah.
be able to just like vent and like I'm
Yeah,
thankful for the freedom of speech where I can just like
where we can
pop.
make this podcast and just pop off and say whatever we want to say. No, honestly, like having that ability to free think is not something that I take lightly. I know you don't take lightly. Like having that
Yeah, for
ability. I
sure.
mean, that's why I hope. I mean, me and my partner we talk about this all the time. That like I know that you're trying to raise your son to be a different thinker. Like, I hope that
Yeah.
we raise our kids to be different thinkers so that when, maybe generations, maybe we'll be long gone, but like generations and generations from now, maybe all of this sort of hogwash will be irrelevant and like we can
Yeah.
actually escape the chains of like ignorance
Yeah.
and fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, you know, perhaps this is a harsh statement, but I think sometimes it can feel a bit like a version of modern day slavery, is just like that ignorance and fear,
It is. You're right.
because fear
I
is
don't think it's a
easily
harsh statement. I think
manipulated.
it's yeah. I
It's
really
easily
think that it's
manipulated.
it's I love how you put that, like the chains of ignorance and fear, and the fact that that fear is like and ignorance. It is
Yep.
like modernized slavery. And that's how it works. It's like if we can encapsulate your thought process to what we want it to be
Yeah.
versus allowing for that free thought, and like we win,
Yeah.
right? Who
Yeah.
is we? We are the people that are actually in power, the folks that want billions of
Yeah.
dollars
Yeah.
all for themselves, the selfish, the greedy. That's who we are. Not we like me, but like the we that I'm thinking
Yeah.
of.
The we that we're talking about.
But like if they can do that, they're successful.
Yeah. And then
And
they can maintain that power for as
yeah,
long as that. I
yeah,
mean, like there's so many books and movies and literature and all of these things that talk about this kind of thing of like the dangers. I've even seen people comparing what's going on to like The Handmaid's Tale and like all these things, right?
yeah.
Like
I
like the
have to.
dangers,
Yeah,
but it's true. I mean, like
it's
they're
so
not.
true.
Yeah, okay, hee hee ha ha, dramatic, but like it really could it just takes one person who's just
Yeah,
unhinged enough to get
yeah,
just enough people on their
yeah,
bandwagon, and that
yeah.
could actually literally be your reality.
Literally,
Like I know we joke,
literally.
but like that could literally be your reality. And so
That's
I
how we had Hitler.
like it just takes one person to be able to manipulate that fear,
Yeah,
and you having an unwavering commitment to your ignorance, because again,
yeah.
the internet is free. Like books, the
Free, free,
library,
$3.99.
The library
Zero
will
dollars.
let you check out as many books as you want for free,
Yeah.
right? Actually, you don't even have to check them out. You can walk in, pick them up right off the shelf, sit there and read it,
Yeah.
right? You don't even have to
Yeah.
take it home. I mean, like,
Yeah.
and you know, in this sort of like modern society, like education is actually so much easier
It is
accessible than you really think
so
it is.
accessible.
So that
Yeah.
just tells me that you're making a conscious choice and choosing to be ignorant and uneducated, because
Yeah.
you could educate yourself if you really wanted to.
If you really want to. And also
But you
that's why
don't.
it's
But you
important to
don't.
have, and I think it's also important to have like different circles of people, right? Because like it's only by being around different types of people that you really start to hear about the different issues that are out there. Like imagine me only being around Black Africans.
Yeah. Yeah.
All I'm gonna know is Black African stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Black American anything. I won't know anything about Black Caribbean. I don't know anything about my about Anglos, right?
Yeah.
Asians, whites, like
Yeah.
I won't know anything about anything. So it's like when they talk about diversity
Yeah.
and being around different types of people culturally, also being around women, men, like having not necessarily, you don't have to be friends with trans people or anything like that. Hey, your belief is your belief, but like at least exposing yourself
Listen.
enough.
You just need to listen. Like, that's
That's
really
it.
all it takes. Just
But
listen. Yes.
intentionally
Listen.
seeking these different, yes, the different inputs, because that's where, like, I was watching some they were talking about like people that formerly voted for Trump and why they voted for Trump, and
Mm-hmm.
because they were just angry, they wanted to change. But there was this one guy, this one white dude, and you see him, he looks like a rock and roller, right? You would think
Mm-hmm.
like he's going to, like, he is.
He really looks, never judge a book, but
But when I never judge a book, but when I tell you that statement of never judge a book, because he in the entire like interview series was the one person that was unwaveringly open minded to everything. He was like, yeah, but look at this, look at that, look at that. And homeboy looked like he riding Harley Davidson. He part of
oh
the
yeah,
bump of DEI, and he was like, yeah, no, no, literally, right? Like, and he was like, no, you got to look at this, you got to look at that. And he's like, that's where, no, like, how these are our neighbors. No, this guy is enticing hate. He's hating these people. Do you think Mexicans are coming here for real like that in drones? Like, he had the most common sense out
yeah,
of, there were like 10 people that were being interviewed,
yeah.
10, 15, and he had the most common sense. You could tell he exposes himself to different types of people. And that's the only way that we're going to get ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really just boils down to like having the simplistic understanding that my human experience is just my human experience, and that
Yeah.
means that
Yeah.
every other human that's on this planet is living their own human
Yes.
experience. And so what
Yes.
may work for me and my human experience isn't necessarily going to work for all the other humans. And we're going
Yep.
to do our best to try to keep everybody safe and give them a certain quality of life, right?
Yep.
But like however they however they conceptualize their human experience, right? And however they
Yep.
need to feel supported in that is valid just like mine. It's valid just like
Yeah.
mine. And it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter what's happening in my head, under my roof,
Yep.
whatever. It doesn't
Yep.
matter. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, whether somebody chooses to vote certain things into law or not into law, in actuality, it really doesn't affect anything to do with me, right? It doesn't affect anything to do with me. Like, really, honestly, I'm still going to be doing the same shit, right? So why does it matter? Like,
It doesn't.
if you just
It
like,
only it matters for that person who that law is protecting. It does not
it
matter
doesn't
for you.
matter for anybody else. And
It
that's
does
why
not matter for you.
these sort of like fanatics and like, not to get all riled up again, but like really like I just these like fanatics that are so like petrified of like,
Yeah.
people's lifestyles, people's, expressions of self, like
Yes.
people's skin color, that all of which for the most part are all things that people can't control. It's just sometimes just the way they are, right? It's just the way they are. And it's like really just rocks your sense of reality. I just want to hold your hand and really be like, you should go touch grass sometimes. You should go outside and just breathe fresh air and go touch some grass
I cannot.
and just
I
find
cannot.
a little sliver of like grounding in reality, because where you're
Yeah, for
existing right
sure.
now is so in outer space that honestly,
So in outer
maybe
space.
you need to strip off your skin suit and kind of get the heck out of here as well, because I just like it's such a foreign concept
It's
to me.
it's such a and it's not until those people are impacted
Yeah.
by something
Yeah.
that then they're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what, like, just stop for a second, go outside and touch grass.
Yeah. Just everybody take a deep breath. Go
Yeah,
outside.
touch grass.
Touch something living that's not a human being. That's grass. Let's not touch
Or a
people.
dog.
You know, no
Or a dog.
consent is a thing. Let's
Or
just
animals.
touch
Yeah.
grass. Touch some grass.
Touch grass.
Go hug a
Touch
tree.
the earth.
You
Hug a
know?
tree. Yeah. Go to the beach,
It's
put your foot in the water.
also free 99. Doesn't cost you anything to just go touch
Nothing.
grass and find a sense of
Yeah.
reality, because realistically, the choices that you are making right now in your life will affect the next generations to come.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
whether you think, oh, I'm making a decision for me or I'm making a decision to protect myself, you're actually not. You're making decisions that are going to affect the lives of multitudes of generations
So many.
behind you.
Yes,
And
for years.
if you don't live
Yes.
your life understanding that responsibility, you know, understanding that, like, you know, you know, having children that grow up into adults is a
Yeah.
responsibility. You know,
Yeah.
being influencing those children that become adults is a responsibility, and not
Yeah.
understanding the gravity with which that responsibility is. Like, I just need you to check back in. Check back in. It's not about you.
Literally.
It's never been
It's not
about
about
you.
you.
It's not
No.
about you. You're it's
No.
already it already is what it is for you. Yeah. It's not about you.
Yeah.
So you
It's
gotta
not.
just
It's not. Stop being selfish. And I think that's probably the biggest takeaway from our conversation
100%.
today. It's like we've got to stop living in a bubble, in a
Yeah.
selfish, self-centered bubble,
Yeah.
and think about your neighbor.
Yeah.
Think about your child's future, your child's children's future. Think about that little kid that you once were who did not see color,
Right.
gender, none of that, who
Right.
just loved everyone,
Yeah.
even if no matter of their sexual orientation. Like, think about that kid and go back to that place of innocence and how you genuinely just loved people
Yeah.
and wanted the best for people. Like, just go back there before
Yeah.
life tainted you,
Yeah.
before life proved to be nasty and ugly and to be a place where you had to work your ass off,
Yeah.
right? Go back to that place. And I think we'll all be so much better. Like, we'll all be so much better if we can just like uncloud what life has done to us, to our parents, to whatever.
Yeah.
Just go back to that freaking place and then look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. We need a collective inner child healing. That's what we need. We
Dead
need a
ass.
collective inner child healing. I feel like that was a good place to mic drop. So I feel like, I mean, I know we still have things to discuss, but we're gonna leave y'all.
No, but that was good. That
We're
was
gonna leave
good.
y'all right here.
That was good.
Drop down in the comments, how you're gonna do it. How are you going to tap back in? I feel like it's like, or if you just concur, if you just agree, like, even if you don't share this episode or you just happen upon it, like, if it stirs something in you to be able to speak on that elsewhere, I don't know, tag us, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but to your point, like, if for nothing else, like
If nothing else, is
someone might watch and can relate. If you relate to what we're saying, let us know how you relate, right, to
yeah,
what we're saying. There's no way we're not alone. These
no,
conversations are happening all across the world right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, this was like freaking therapy, man. That's
yeah.
why it's important to have friends.
That's a good one.
Friends. How many of us have them?
Oh my gosh, I
Right?
think that's been
Well,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Follow us on the internet. There's going to be things in the description as always. I'll make sure to put it there. Look out for mugs, I guess. Look out for mugs. I was sipping a lot for my mug. Nancy was not sipping as much because she was on a roll, but that's okay. And we will catch y'all
Yeah.
next time.
Next time. Peace out.
Peace.